Here's some of what's heading your way tonight on your News at 9.
A Chautauqua, Kansas woman is speaking out after her electricity is turned off without warning. I'm Zach Dodge with the story.
Joplin High School football players helped clean up the Joplin DMV, which flooded in last week's storms.
President Biden remembers the victims of Tulsa a century after one of the country's deadliest massacres. I'm Madeline Rivera in Tulsa, and I've got the details coming up.
Nick Kelly's got your forecast. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Warner. The man who tried to rescue 12-year-old Kaylin Brown last week has died. 34-year-old Trevor Hicks was pulled from the water by rescue crews on Wednesday. He was hospitalized, and a GoFundMe page was set up to support his family. The Missouri State Highway Patrol reported that Hicks died this morning. A Chautauqua, Kansas woman is speaking out after the city shut off her electricity and required more than $2,000 to turn it back on. She says her power was pulled because she hadn't paid $113, then owed another $1,500 to get it turned back on. KOAM's Zach Dodge explains and why some confusion delayed a solution.
It's something Charmin Vaughn never thought would happen.
I was standing in my closet and electric went out.
The city had pulled her electric meter and shut her water off.
I called them and said, yeah, my electric's off. And she said, yeah, you didn't pay the $113 over on your contract.
City officials explain after the Arctic blast came through in February, the city had to pay more than $100,000 for electricity for the town, meaning residents like Vaughn faced higher bills. Hers was more than $2,000. In response, the city let residents split that bill up over a 15-month period, something that started because of COVID. In Vaughn's case, that added $113 to her normal bill. In May, she paid her normal bill, but couldn't cover the extra.
I had told them I am signing this under duress because there's nothing else I can do.
Before all of this, though, she had signed up for low-income energy assistance through the state and needed a shutoff notice, which she was waiting on.
I've been told by the city that it's on the back of your bill. We don't send out shutoff notices. It's on the back of your bill. That is your shutoff notice. Okay, that'd been nice to know this whole time. 4
others had been shut off at the same time because they hadn't paid the extra amount on their bill, saying they would have to pay their bills in full to get it back on. For Vaughn, it was more than $1,500.
Do I need to take my stuff out of my fridge? Do I leave my fridge door shut? Do I leave my deep freeze shut? That's what we're facing right now.
Between our and Vaughn's communication with the city, the appropriate paperwork was sent in to the state for low-income energy assistance, and her balance was paid. So her power is back on, but she doesn't know what others in the same situation are going to do.
I know there are people that are struggling making this because I've got friends that have talked about it. I would like to see something happen with this.
In Chautauqua, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
City officials encourage any other residents whose electricity has been shut off to attend tonight's city council meeting so they can talk about individual solutions. That meeting was at 7 this evening. The city treasurer tells us that residents don't have to be on the agenda beforehand to speak at that meeting. And cloudy skies stuck around again today. Definitely not feeling like the first day of June, Nick.
No, it did not, Chris, especially for much of the area. But we'll go over those numbers to see if any parts of the area at least manage to warm up some later on. But as far as Joplin's concerned, all this cloud cover kept us only at 65 for the high today after starting at 57. We did pick up rain, certainly from the good downpours we had last night. Not a lot to show you right now. It's nice that Mother Nature's giving us a break in our rain chances ever since the morning ended up. But with our main upper level system still spinning out across Kansas, that is what's going to keep some rain chances in the forecast. Right now, most of us in the lower to middle 60s. We'll go to the 50s tonight, Chris. A few more rain chances on the way, but thankfully, a warming trend, much deserved too. We'll focus on that here in a bit.
All right, looking forward to it, Nick. Thank you. Well, this is what the Joplin DMV looked like last week when severe storms brought flooding to our area. And this is what it looks like now after things dried out. But an improvement is coming thanks to these volunteers. They're Joplin High School football players, and they stopped by the DMV today to help.
We've been here all day long. Some of the folks were here all weekend long. We've had to literally move everything out. We've had to get rid of things that have been, ruined.
Officials say the DMV will remain closed for a few more days as cleanup continues. The Joplin Public Library today announced the start of its summer reading program. This year's theme is Tales and Tales. That's tales as in animal tails, like they wag, and tales like stories. The program features challenges based on reading time, which people of all ages can work towards to earn prizes. To get more people involved, the city is offering free trolley passes throughout the reading program to people who sign up.
If you come to the library and enjoy our materials and programs and all the good stuff, then you'll meet new people. We want to just be that resource that connects people to what they need and to each other. And then if you enjoy online resources and everything, you have lots of great opportunities to learn and engage with new things.
The library is also offering a free library card to anyone who signs up for the reading program. The program ends on July 25th. The Fort Scott Public Library is once again open to the public. That had closed due to the pandemic. There are still some pandemic-era rules in place. Now, masks are not required, but visitors are asked to follow CDC guidelines. Library employees say they're just happy to see their patrons again.
Normally there would be chairs where people could be sitting here, but we're still trying to discourage people being in for long periods of time. We've actually put the chairs that used to be up here downstairs to have a little Wi-Fi use area so that people can sit down there and use our Wi-Fi.
The library hours are 9:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday and 9:30 to 1:30 on Saturdays. Well, it's one of the worst acts of racial violence in American history. A century later, President Biden is honoring the survivors and remembering the victims of 2 deadly days in Tulsa when a white mob killed hundreds of black residents and destroyed their livelihoods. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera is in Tulsa with what the president is doing to help combat racial inequities in America.
President Biden is the first president to travel here to Tulsa to commemorate the Tulsa Race Massacre, one of the nation's darkest and largely most forgotten moments of racial violence. And it comes during a nationwide push for racial justice.
For much too long, the history of what took place here was told in silence, cloaked in darkness. But just because history is silent, it doesn't mean that it did not take place.
It's a day of solemn remembrance for the hundreds of black lives lost in the Tulsa Race Massacre 100 years ago. Between May 31st and June 1st, 1921, a white mob looted and burned homes and businesses in Tulsa's Greenwood district, known as Black Wall Street. Roughly 300 black community members were killed, and thousands more were forced into internment camps.
I hear the screams. I have lived through the massacre every day. Our country may forget this history, but I cannot.
President Biden has long pledged to combat systemic racism. He's using today's events as a catalyst for change in underserved communities, with 2 new measures to help reduce the racial wealth gap. One of them would address inequity in home appraisals. The other would increase federal contracts with small disadvantaged businesses by 50% by 2026, investing $100 billion in minority businesses.
I think it needs to be acknowledged that we have to do better in what we're doing far as supporting a group of people.
President Biden also met with 3 remaining survivors of the massacre, ages 101 to 107, to hear their stories. In Tulsa, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
We take this time now to honor one of our many 4-state heroes. Petty Officer 3rd Class Alvin Keller served in the Navy during World War II aboard the USS Salamoa and received a Purple Heart, his hometown, Joplin. We are proud to recognize Petty Officer 3rd Class Alvin Keller, tonight's 4-state hero. Well, Nick is next with a complete look at that forecast, and later the Allen Community College women's soccer team punched their ticket to the national tournament.
It was nice that during much of the day we got a break from our persistent rain chances that we've seen for a little over a week now, what seems like. That definitely, if you got stuck underneath the cloud cover today, like we did at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, temperatures just flat out struggled. So for many of you, it did not feel like June today, even though we got the morning round of rain out of here. It kept things relatively calm during the afternoon as far as rain chances go. But the morning rounds of rain performed as advertised, actually. Once you hopped north and west of Joplin, maybe a quarter to half an inch of rain. But south of the interstate, southwestern Missouri, Grand Lake, pockets of half an inch to almost 3 inches of rainfall, and that did lead to some flood warnings earlier for parts of Lawrence and Berry counties, but that expired about an hour ago. Now we're just keeping an eye on the radar still. While most of us are dry, we're still seeing maybe just a few stray showers around Table Rock Lake, but any of those that kept trying to percolate just continue to shift east towards Springfield and Branson. So most of us are looking quiet right now. We certainly are from 7th and Rangeline. 62, we finally are seeing this number start to drop in Joplin. East breeze at 5 and the humidity at 86%. Temperatures were really interesting to see unfold today. Everyone started chilly, mainly middle to upper 50s. But fast forward through the day, we actually had peaks of sun in our northwestern counties. So you all went into the upper 60s to lower 70s. Everybody else had to make do with just mid-60s for the afternoon, but most of us are in the 60s now, the vast majority of us sitting in the lower 60s. And we're going for another chilly night as we continue with mostly cloudy skies here. We're not concerned about this storm system at the surface doing anything. That keeps any good thunderstorm chances to the south. However, this stubborn upper level low, it was off to our southwest for the past several days, but now it's working over the state of Kansas, and this will start to move along as we go throughout the day tomorrow. Before it departs us, though, we'll hold on to mostly cloudy skies during the overnight, maybe a few showers east of 69 as we get your Wednesday morning started, but everyone's chilly with lows dropping back into the upper 50s once again. My thinking for tomorrow afternoon is we'll start mostly cloudy, but then we'll start to see more peaks of the sun. That could allow for additional scattered showers, maybe a few thunderstorms. The peaks of the sun, though, should help us out with temperatures. 57 in the morning, 68 by noon, highs near 74. Let's just jump right to Thursday. This system starts lifting north and east. That finally gives us a partly sunny Thursday and Friday with maybe a very slim chance of a shower. But that will allow us to see highs climb back near 80. But this developing low near Texas on Friday gets grabbed by the jet stream going into Saturday. And throughout the coming weekend, no surprise there, rain chances will be back in play once again as we continue through the coming weekend and early next week. Despite all of this, though, temperatures thankfully still in the right direction. 73 tomorrow, 77 Thursday, back near 80 on Friday, and we'll stay in the lower 80s through the rest of the stretch, Chris.
I'm liking the warmer temperatures, but we just can't seem to get rid of this rain.
But at least Thursday and Friday, it's going to be the drier of the days that we can enjoy.
Oh, we better enjoy them while we can. Nick, thank you so much. Well, coming up on your news at 9, if you want to buy a Tesla, be prepared for a price increase. That and more just ahead in the Fox Business Brief.
Outlaw.
The price of a Tesla is going up, and how AMC movie theater plans to grow as it comes out of the pandemic. Fox Business Network's Cheryl Casoni has these stories and more in today's Fox Business Briefs.
Tesla is raising prices because of the issues it's having obtaining raw materials to build its cars. CEO Elon Musk revealed the increase in a tweet, blaming major supply chain price pressure industry-wide, raw materials especially. According to reports, Tesla increased its Model 3 and Model Y prices last month, marking the 5th increase in just a few months. Well, movie theater chain AMC Entertainment is selling 8.5 million shares to Mudrick Capital for more than $230 million. The cinema company was crushed by the pandemic and revived by Reddit traders. It says it will reinvest the proceeds in the business. Another restaurant chain is staffing up. Chuck E. Cheese says it's going to hire 5,000 team members this summer for its 460 locations in 47 states. It's offering both part-time and full-time opportunities for cast members, kitchen, and management openings. And Chili's is getting in on the chicken sandwich craze. It's been testing a Chili's chicken sandwich with secret sauce and is launching it for the month of June. But so far, Chili's chicken sandwich is not a permanent menu item. Well, for more stories, log on to foxbusiness.com. In New York, I'm Cheryl Casoni.
It's going to be a dry summer in the sky. American is the latest airline to announce it is extending its suspension on alcoholic beverage services in Coach until at least September. Southwest making a similar decision last month. The move follows several violent attacks on flight attendants, often over mask mandates. The FAA reporting more than 2,500 incidents with unruly passengers so far this year. Well, high-tech breakfast time. Kellogg's cereal is introducing a cereal robot at universities in Wisconsin and Florida. The BowlBot offering a vending machine experience just for your favorite cereal. You can use the touchscreen to add a combination of items and you'll pay between $3 to $6. Just ahead, looking for the origin.
Chinese government officials say U.S. politicians are trying to shift blame for their handling of the coronavirus. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with more on what U.S. lawmakers are saying about getting to the bottom of how the pandemic started.
14.
As more of the world, especially the U.S., starts to bounce back to normal, many U.S. lawmakers want to know how the coronavirus outbreak started and how to stop it from happening again. China is pushing back on theories it started in a Wuhan lab. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in Washington with more.
On Tuesday, China's foreign affairs spokesperson accused American politicians of politicizing virus tracing, calling it immoral and unpopular. It comes as there are growing calls in the U.S. to figure out where COVID-19 originated and whether it leaked out of a Chinese laboratory.
Why are these people pestering on the theory of a Chinese lab leak without any evidence? To put it bluntly, they're just shirking responsibility for the U.S.'s failure to fight the pandemic and making an excuse to suppress and contain China's development.
The World Health Organization dismissed the idea that the virus began in a lab, but their study has been criticized internationally because of a lack of access. Last week, President Biden ordered intelligence agencies to ramp up their investigation into the pandemic's origins. The administration says they want to know in order to stop another outbreak from happening. Nearly 600,000 Americans have died due to the virus. Since the beginning of the pandemic, many Republicans have pushed back on the theory that the virus originated in bats.
Republicans were told last year when they floated the lab leak idea that they were conspiracy theorists.
A growing number of GOP lawmakers say they want a congressional investigation into the pandemic and any funding the National Institutes of Health sent to the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
If it leaked from the lab, did China know and cover that up? These are incredibly important questions that we absolutely have to understand.
President Biden gave U.S. agencies 90 days to pull together their findings on COVID-19's origins. He says he will release the report publicly. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
When the pool's in the sky like a big pizza pie, that's a no from me. More on this unique feature just ahead. Daredevil drivers take on the ultimate challenge across the pond. It's a need for speed and height as drivers attempt to fly over a line of cars at a raceway in West Sussex, England. The 2021 car jumping competition yesterday drew big crowds. Some drivers managed to pull off the dangerous feat while others crashed into the other cars and flipped over like that one. The drivers are judged in 3 categories, not including crashing and flipping, but they do include elevation, distance, and reception from the crowd. Fans filled the raceway to enjoy the exciting event and cheer on their favorite drivers. So take a look up in the sky. It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's a pool across the pond. A swimming pool is suspended high above London between 2 high-rise apartment buildings. The sky pool is transparent, so you can take in a swim or catch some sun and iconic views of London at the same time. The pool appears to float more than 100 feet above ground and is reportedly the largest acrylic pool structure in the world. The sky pool was manufactured in Colorado before making its journey across the Atlantic to the British capital. We got 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Democrats in Texas temporarily block a voting rights bill. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington with reaction from the state's governor coming up.
A An organization is giving area kids with cancer a chance to have a summer camp experience at home. Camp Quality Ozarks is hosting a virtual camp-in with several activities for kids and their families. Normally, the camp would be in person, but because of COVID, it has gone digital. Today, the organization hosted a camp kickoff, which was in person.
It's a lot harder to plan a week-long virtual camp, but man, in the end, it's definitely worth it. Getting to be together for these 2 hours tonight, we definitely had to take a lot of COVID precautions, but we got that under wraps, and we were just so excited to get these 2 hours together.
The camp runs all of next week. A new event is coming to downtown Miami. The city announced today that the Route 66 Heritage Festival will be on July 30th and 31st. It'll feature vendors and music from Keith Anderson, Jared Neiman, and Thompson Square.
Get ready to, kind of celebrate the other side of COVID and really celebrate being back out, being a part of what makes Miami, Miami. And just welcoming, visitors from really everywhere traveling Route 66. We want this to be an annual destination event. We want when people are planning their Route 66 trip, they'll plan it around this weekend in Miami, Oklahoma, because they'll, the national acts and the things that will continue.
The event will be in downtown Miami along historic Route 66. Well, former Kansas Governor Jeff Colyer is running for governor of the Sunflower State once again in 2022, and he stopped by Pittsburgh today to discuss his campaign. Colyer was serving as lieutenant governor since 2011, but took over as governor when Sam Brownback stepped down to join the Trump administration in 2018. Colyer lost his bid for the Republican gubernatorial nomination later that same year. We asked him, with everything that's happened in the last year, how would it have been different if he were still in office?
We would be on a dramatically different course. We would have been one that would have followed the science, but allowed people to make their own decisions, to use what best the innovation that we have. For me, what I'll be doing as governor is making sure our regulations are low, that we're a conservative state, that we have low taxes, and I have a track record. I have a track record of strong contrast with Laura Kelly. That's who we are as Kansans.
In the Republican primary, Colyer will be running against Attorney General Derek Schmidt, among others. A controversial election bill is at the center of a heated political debate in Texas. It's the latest state trying to make changes as a result of the 2020 election. Democrats in the Lone Star State temporarily blocked the bill from going forward, and now the state's governor is looking to take action. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has more from Washington.
Democrats used the last tool available to us. We denied them the quorum that they need to pass this bill, and we killed that bill.
Tense moments between lawmakers in the state of Texas. Late Sunday night, Democrats made a drastic attempt to block the passage of an election bill backed by Republicans. Opponents of the measure say it would make voting more difficult and disproportionately impact communities of color. Republicans dispute those claims. If passed, the bill would eliminate drive-through voting, enhance access for partisan poll watchers, and place new requirements on casting a mail-in ballot.
We wanted to be sure we have full verification of mail-in ballots, and again, making sure that people who say they're going to vote and are voting are the people they say they are. This is not voter suppression.
Governor Greg Abbott reacted to the move by Democrats to halt voting. He is threatening to veto funding for the state legislature, writing, quote, "No pay for those who abandon their responsibilities." The bill being debated in the Lone Star State follows the passage of election laws in Florida, Georgia, and Arizona. Democrats vow to fight on.
Americans should all stand up and say enough is enough. We've been down this road before.
President Biden opposes the Texas election bill and is calling on Congress to pass voting rights legislation. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
A little later, the push to go green.
More automakers are jumping in the race to go green. I'm Jackie Ibanez in New York with more on the manufacturers who are pledging billions of dollars toward developing electric vehicles. That's straight ahead.
Fox.
After quite a bit of rain this morning, we were lucky to keep things dry for much of the day. But if you were stuck underneath all the stubborn cloud cover we had over indigo sky, Temperatures just flat out struggled today, but again, interesting to see the rain over our time lapse to start the Tuesday morning hours out. Rain that started yesterday evening actually continued through the overnight, cleared out of here before we got the afternoon started. And again, nice to see at least a little break in our rain chances, even though our stubborn storm system is still in action. The morning rain left many areas north and west of Joplin with maybe a quarter to half an inch. But once you hop south of the interstate closer to Grand Lake, that was half an inch to almost 3 inches of rainfall, according to radar estimates. That did lead to some flood warnings for parts of Berry and Lawrence County, but those have expired. We're sitting mainly quiet with mostly cloudy skies in place. Not a lot to show on the radar, but with the system still around, we're not quite done with our rain chances just yet. Again, though, nice to see a dry look from 7th and Range Line on the east side of Joplin. 62 degrees is where we sit. East breeze at 5, humidity at 86%. And as far as where we sit right now outside of Joplin, we're seeing 59 already in Milnet, but most of us lower to about the mid-60s. Ultimately, it's going to be another chilly night underneath mostly cloudy skies. We'll have lows back in the upper 50s for most of you while we continue to watch this storm system spin just to our north and west. At least at the surface, our frontal boundary well to the south keeps any good chances for thunderstorms to the south of us. But again, it's what's upstairs, this upper level low, finally working across the Central Plains, across the Nebraska-Kansas line. As long as it sticks around for tomorrow, we're going to hold on to cloud cover overnight, generally mostly cloudy skies, and it may throw in a few random showers, mainly east of 69 as we get the morning drive started. Otherwise, everyone's chilly, lows back in the upper 50s. Fast forward to tomorrow afternoon, as that upper low starts to work off toward our northeast. Mostly cloudy skies to start the afternoon. We'll try to turn partly sunny, but as long as moisture still in play as the system is around, can't rule out some scattered showers, maybe a few thunderstorms. But if anything can pop up, nothing crazy expected, so we're not worried about that. 57 in the morning, 68 by noon. Highs near 74, so we will do better overall with temperatures tomorrow despite the setup in place. Dry Wednesday night going into Thursday morning, and this is looking overall like a really dry day, except for the slimmest chance of a random shower. But this will allow highs to go back into the upper 70s on Thursday. This setup holds for Friday, pushing highs back near 80, mainly a dry day. But this upper low in Texas starts to develop. By Saturday, the jet stream starts to grab that low and drag it to the north. As long as it sticks around for late in the weekend into early next week, that is going to be more rain and thunderstorm chances we'll have to keep an eye on. 73 tomorrow, 77 Thursday, highs back near 80 on Friday, lower 80s for the rest of the weekend into early next week. So even though rain chances are still dotting the forecast, Chris, Thursday and Friday, can't rule out a random shower, but it's going to be really nice to get some dry time around here.
Well, if you need to mow your yard, you may need to call in Thursday or Friday just so you can get it done before it starts to grow again.
I know with all this rain, though, you might have to take a machete to the lawn.
I think I might need to do that. Nick, thank you so much. Well, the Neosho City Council met tonight. One item on the agenda discussing updating an ordinance that would affect the amount of fowl that can be kept together within the city limits. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky was in Neosho and spoke with chicken owners as well as local police on the effects this ordinance could have.
Among the many things on the Neosho City Council's agenda was a discussion about a new city ordinance, one to address several noise and odor complaints coming from fowl such as chickens and roosters. One Neosho resident has chickens of her own, but says she can understand why an ordinance may be needed.
I can see a point to having an ordinance because they can possibly be a nuisance if there's too many of them in a small space, and I think that would be unhealthy as well.
Neosho Police Chief Jason Baird says neighboring cities like Joplin, Carthage, and Diamond already have ordinances on the number of chickens or poultry one can keep, and say they've received many complaints over the years about these birds.
Just our current ordinance just limits them so far from the house, and it puts no limitations on them. We've received several complaints from neighbors of people that are keeping a large number of birds, free range, chicken coops. They're not really cleaning up after them, and the smell and the noise is disturbing the other residents.
One Neosho resident, Dakota Cholka, has neighbors with these birds and sent us a statement saying that without an ordinance in place, code enforcement officers are unable to help. He says all he wanted from tonight's meeting was for the council to see that there need to be more regulations allowing for citations to be issued. In Neosho, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Now, upon discussion, the council says that this issue would be covered under their existing noise ordinance and that local police would issue citations under that ordinance. Well, coming up in sports, the Crowder College baseball team aims for revenge against Indian Hills at the JUCO World Series. Plus, the Allen Community College women's soccer team hits the road to nationals. Jacob Leonard joins us next with that and more.
This Wildcat. The Crowder College Rough Riders have avoided elimination the last 2 days at the JUCO World Series in Grand Junction, Colorado. They've won back-to-back games after falling to Indian Hills in their opener on Saturday. Now, tonight, they get a chance at revenge against Indian Hills in an elimination game. Crowder gets it when it counts, beating the Warriors tonight 12-8. They scored 8 runs in the 6th inning in this one. Now, the Rough Riders get tomorrow off before playing in the semifinals on Thursday.
We put ourselves in a great situation. We got a day to recover, rest a little bit, and come out there on Thursday night and hopefully do well enough to get to the game where what we came out here to do in the first place is to compete for a national title.
Well, tonight's the opening night for Pittsburgh American Legion baseball. Post 64 at home against Iowa Post 15 this evening. First inning here, Dylan Bycroft drops it into left. Braden Cole rounds third and scores. Iowa gets 2 in the first inning. Now their big inning came in the third. Drake Delatorre here shoots it back up the middle to score another. Iowa gets 9 in the third to go up 11-1. Post 64 gets one back here. Cameron Williamson, opposite field. That scores Gavin Wampler, but Iowa, too much tonight. Post 15 tops Post 64 13-3. Both the Kansas City Royals and St. Louis Cardinals are on the field tonight. Kansas City wraps up a quick 2-game set at home against the Pirates. They rolled in Game 1 last night 7-3. Tonight, the Royals lead 8-5 in the top of the 7th inning. Andrew Benintendi, big night for him. He's 2 for 3 with a grand slam. As for the Cardinals, they try to even the series with the Dodgers. That one's still in the early stages. Cardinals lead a 1-0 in the top of the 2nd. The Allen Community College women's soccer team is headed to the national tournament. The Red Devils earned their trip to Georgia by beating Pratt 3-0 in the regional finals last week. Allen had a little send-off celebration this morning before they hit the road to Evans, Georgia. They will be the 11th seed in the 12-team national tournament with pool play beginning on Friday. Now, this season, the Red Devils have already earned conference and regional championships. They're hoping to cap it off with a national championship this weekend.
Oh, it feels awesome, and just feels the nose that we're, at the very least, we're in that top 12 group, somewhere in there, and the fact that we're able to do that and bring that to Iowa and to the school that we love so much says a lot and means a lot.
Right now, we're just focused on playing our game, doing what we know how to do, so see if it works out for us. But I love this team, they're my best friends, so it's a good experience.
And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Automakers are promising billions of dollars to go electric. Hyundai, Ford, and Nissan are among the car manufacturers looking to go green, but there could be a bump in the road as they push towards innovation. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez has more.
More automakers are pledging billions of dollars toward developing electric vehicles. Hyundai says it plans to invest $7.4 billion in the United States by 2025 to make electric vehicles and upgrade plants. The company says it will start producing electric vehicles at a facility in the U.S. in 2022. The move comes as the Biden administration called for billions of dollars in new spending to boost electric vehicle production and to create charging stations.
It is essential to manufacture electric vehicles in the U.S. to take advantage of the administration's policies.
Last month, President Biden was in Michigan showcasing Ford's new EV version of its F-150 pickup. The company wants 40% of its global sales to be from electric vehicles by 2030.
We really wanted to challenge convention, not just to make it an electric pickup truck. We wanted to really innovate.
Meanwhile, Nissan's chief operating officer says the brand will standardize and share parts of its electric vehicle components with its partners Mitsubishi and Renault.
We share to eliminate the duplication of the resources. For us, synergy is to improve the performance of each company.
But questions remain about whether Americans will be willing to trade in their traditional vehicles for electric models. And some experts say the global chip shortage could slow down the pace of automakers as they make more moves to go green. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
Well, bored at home? Worry not. We've got a list of new releases when your News at 9 returns. DVD and music releases this week include a coming-of-age sports drama, a true-life espionage tale, a family drama, and more. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with the list of new releases.
I've got to represent.
Topping the list of what's new in home entertainment, the coming-of-age basketball drama Boogie about a young teen who faces obstacles while pursuing his NBA dreams.
Spies.
Benedict Cumberbatch goes behind the Iron Curtain for a high-stakes mission as a super spy in the true-life espionage tale The Courier.
About to be arrested for child abuse.
Stephen Dorff and Darren Mann face off in the ring as father and son MMA fighters in the family drama Embattled.
So what do you think?
Catherine Waterston, Vanessa Kirby, and Casey Affleck star in the period drama The World to Come. Set in 19th century America, two farmers' wives fall in love with each other while navigating their marriages and their own personal struggles.
I'm no more equipped to deal with this than any of you.
An American family's dream vacation turns into a battle for survival while on safari in Africa in the action thriller Endangered Species.
He's going to mastermind the infiltration.
A young engineer teams up with a group of master thieves to steal a legendary lost treasure hidden under the Bank of Spain in the heist thriller The Vault.
Why did you adopt me?
The 1981 cult classic Mommy Dearest has been newly restored from a 4K film transfer and is available on a limited edition Blu-ray for its 40th anniversary. For music fans, 1980s Australian rock band Crowded House released their first album in 10 years titled Dreamers Are Waiting. And Soberish is the new album by singer-songwriter Liz Phair. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for now. Our next news time, just a few minutes over at KOAM at 10. And we're going to leave you with video of an elephant at the Oregon Zoo bobbing for melons. Yes, that's what he's doing. Thanks for making us part of your night.